Okay, taking a video of my cabin at 49 Tristania Street, Bangalow. The cabin off to the left of the property, little green cabin. Just documenting the conditions I've been living in for 26 years. And trying to just get them all in one go, so sorry if I'm chopping and changing a bit, if it's not that clear. Hopefully it is. I just probably have to zoom in a couple of times. Oh shit. Zoom in a couple of times to show you what I'm looking at. That's just a corner of the room. That's the same as all the other corners. Oh, actually that's probably the best looking corner, I would say, as far as not condemnable, if that makes sense. And I'm not laughing because it's funny, let me tell you. Just feel completely gutted. That's above the fireplace, and that's the fireplace flue. And the reason we couldn't light a fire in the fireplace for about 4 years now. That's some of the electrical work. And the main light in the house is that, and that's the wiring. That is above the kitchen, or not a kitchen, it's just a bench in a little corner that we call the kitchen. That's the ceiling above there, where the worst of the water absolutely floods out during any kind of rain. I've always got buckets underneath there and towels, because it just happens every time it rains, and it's getting worse and worse. And my son and I, you can see, tried to fix that ourselves, but to no avail. We didn't do a very good job. We tried, but anyway. And this is just the mould all over the ceiling. That's just everywhere, absolutely everywhere. It's everywhere. All those dark patches are mould. That's another corner. That's just something I've stuffed with everything I can think of to get the rain and to try and keep rats out. Although I ended up succumbing to getting a flick man coming, because the rats were like the London plague here. Like, there were so many rats, it was uncontrollable. So I ended up having to get a flick man to come out every month for years. So I've been doing that, and paying for it myself, obviously. So yes, that's the walls. This is all the mould. That's the other side of where the electrical things are on the beam. I'm sorry, I'm really not breathing very well. I'm having a bad breathing day is what I call it. Which I've only just kind of realised is probably very likely to do with the mould situation. I feel that I've been a bit naive with not really realising that. Yeah, so that's the thing that we try to fix above the little bench that we make food on. That's just to try to stop the water coming out. The water comes out there, where the thing around the fan is, the top part of the fan, water comes out there, which is what I believe to be the water which flowed down, or I don't know, I honestly don't know whether the rain came out of the roof the day I was electrocuted and landed on the floor, because it was a bit different to usual once I checked it out, and the water seemed to be seeping up from the floor like it did. I can't explain, I'll try to explain that later, but it looked like it was seeping up actually through the floor, and it hadn't done that before, the water. Well, it had, but not so obviously. And this is where I pulled out the plug to put the kettle plug in. I'll just get that out. I don't want to touch it. I'm touching it with my rubber shoes and not ever touching it with my hands again. That plug is to the fridge and to the outside hot water system. The grey one is the hot water system, and the orange plug, one with the orange lead, is it attaches to outdoors, goes out the up the wall, out the wall and over into outside, and that's attached to the hot water system, which doesn't work inside. We've never had hot running water inside, ever. But it goes to the shower outside. We do have hot water, and I'll be showing you that. But yes, that's the grey lead plugged in is the plug that runs to the fridge. And so I have occasionally pulled that one out to use to plug in the kettle or the toaster. But on this day, it's usually just whichever one I pick up first to use the kettle or toaster, because we don't need, don't need hot water while we're making that. So I plugged out the hot water system and put in the kettle. And that's the one I pulled out with my right hand and didn't notice until I looked at it later that it was completely covered in water. I didn't realise, and I again don't know whether that was up through the floor or from the roof. There was water just coming in everywhere. It was torrential rain outside. It does it every time there's rain, but this was a particularly long period of rain. But yeah, this is the plug that I touched, and it was more, I think, from my memory, even though I was knocked out, that the plug, the orange plug that I pulled out, that's when I was electrocuted. That's when I got the shock. I got thrown backwards and bashed my head really hard on, could have been, so I wish I had some footage of it so I could see, but I can only surmise that it must have been where I've hit my head is there, like on the corner of that bench thing. Or it could have been, I don't know. I got knocked out and my back of my head hit something very solid about there. So it's either the leg of the bench or the bench there. Luckily, I don't know. I don't think it was a corner of something, because... Oh shit, hang on. Put the doggy's yogurt away. The doggy's yogurt's on the bench. Oh, fuck. Everything hurts. And so this is the kitchen bench thing that we use. And yes, I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly where it was I hit my head. I don't think it was on the heater there. I think it was on something very, very solid that knocked me out. That's the floor next to the, there's a back door, see, there's a back door here that I actually installed myself. I'm just laughing because, oh, actually no, sorry, there was a guy that helped me do that, a guy that I hired to do that, so that door was put in by us. Because before it was just a really broken door with broken glass and stuff on it, so I replaced that myself. But down sees the stove, and then underneath the garbage bag is another big area of, under that door I've had to fill it up with whatever I could stuff in there to stop the rats coming in, and rain too. So I filled that up with, or anything I could find at Bunnings, pretty much, like the foamy stuff, and I've put rags in there, stuffed it in there. What else did I use? I was putting tape in there somewhere, some sort of tape, waterproof tape. But everything that you can fill a hole at Bunnings, for want of a better way to put that, I've spent thousands of dollars on Bunnings stuff, fixing stuff. This is the floor, which is increasingly covered in mould, and you can mop the absolute merry hell out of it and it doesn't make any difference. I actually hired a lady over the last few weeks to come and, like, just as a real, like, cleaning, cleaning demon that came over just to see if she could make any difference on the floor. And she couldn't. She cleaned it, and the pink and yellow spots I will take responsibility for, because they're paint that I've painted the mouldy walls with, and I probably didn't do a very good job, but I've tried with that. And They're definitely me though, that have done that. What else? Oh, that's the kitchen sink. I showed you that. The kitchen sink that just has all the building material stuff at the back, as always. And I'm just explaining, I'll explain this all to you in person, obviously, but the things that are fixed or haven't been fixed properly that I've tried to fix are just because I tried my hardest to do them. If there's anything that's never been fixed, like that area, like with the plastic and stuff, it's just because I honestly don't know how to do it. If there's anything that's glaringly obvious that probably should have been looked at, I just have looked at and thought, I don't know how to fix that. It's too hard basket. But I have tried to fix a lot of other things. Almost everything else I've tried to fix. Like I've nailed stuff back up and sanded down bits of wood, and I don't know, a corner of the house that doesn't hold tape of some kind holding things together. See, everywhere there's that foamy shit that's just along every bit where there was a possible gap, because there was I'm an animal lover, but these rats were vile. They were very aggressive, horrible rats. And I did feel bad when I got a flick man, but I didn't know what else to do. And that's been quite expensive, to be honest. I'm really breathing very badly, so I'm very sorry for whoever has to listen to this, that I'm really struggling very badly to breathe, which I do normally. That's not new. But I've only, as I say, just realised it's probably got a lot to do with just like the full-on mould everywhere. And again, I understand, call me naive for letting it go on this long, because I have no words. No one's more annoyed at myself than me. Anyway, to let it get to me being electrocuted to realise this is a very unsafe home. Anyway, so this is outside. That's the front door, which just doesn't fit. It literally falls off every single time. I mean, every single time you open it. That screen door just falls off. You just get used to opening the screen, it falls off, you have to pick it up and hook it back into the railings. And it doesn't fit, it's never fit. The window doesn't fit at all. It's at a completely weird angle that isn't, like balanced or flush in any way. It's a completely crooked, that whole window. And yes, the screen just comes off every single time. None of the doors locked. They've never had locks, they've never had keys, they've never had any security thing on them at all. Any of the doors or windows, nothing like that at all. They all just are sort of open, which is getting a bit scary in my old age too, when I'm here alone. So that's the, hope you can see all this. This is the walls, not the walls, the freaking roof. And that's just like a flat tin roof that's on a slight angle. Just let me walk over here. And I think that's probably was designed to keep the rain off if it's at a slight angle. I assume that's why it was made that way, but it doesn't do the job because rain comes in everywhere. That's the front window that's never ever fit properly. That's one thing that Hilary my landlord did replace, was that window on the right as you're looking at it. That window broke in a storm and was replaced by Hilary. So to be fair, I'm pointing out all the things she has done as well as the things she hasn't, but that one was replaced by proper window people because it was all smashed in. That's this thing on the side of the house that houses the washing machine and dryer and all that are outside and plugged in very, very dodgily. Very, very bad and very dangerous. I'm always scared of those. This is the other room, which I'd like to think isn't as bad. Like it's that was constructed after I moved here to house my son, for him to have a room. And I think it's probably made a little better. The windows at least are quite straight, and it doesn't, as far as I know, doesn't leak in this other little bedroom. Just look, there's the place we live in all the time. That's my son's kind of bedroom. So it's just like, see the gap in between, which the gap in between is a story on its own, and I'll tell you that about me buying materials to make a walkway to make it safely from that room to that room, because it was really dangerous. There's always mud there, and I was falling over all the time, and so I bought my own materials, like quite sensible ones, to sort of get the man that I paid to make the fence here. There was a man that came and made the fence to keep my dogs in, and he did a good job. Thank you, Jason. And but in the middle of the walkway, I asked him when he left doing the fence, I said, could you build just a really simple walkway between that house and that house, that little cabin, like to a plank walkway thing. And I bought a great big, which I'll go outside and film this because it's over the other side, a great big strong window thing to be one side of the walkway, so we'd get light in, because it's very dark where we are, like it doesn't let light in. So I got a big window to be the light on one side kind of thing. And I was going to pay for it all myself. I couldn't see any reason why she wouldn't let us do that, but that was just a flat no. She wouldn't let me build it, and so it's always been incredibly unsafe there, that patch there. And then there was never any stairs, not on that one or that one, but I have just put on obviously makeshift stairs, like I don't know what you call them, cinder blocks, and bits of plank and stuff like that, any kind of, things like that, and the gates and all that to block dogs out and everything. That's all just my wonderful handiwork. That's the door at the back of my son's little dwelling. That's the ceiling. And as I say, we definitely get rats in there that I've had to get the Flickman for every month, but as far as I know, not yet has that actually leaked water that we know of. So I'm just going now because I'm going to walk outside and do the outside bit to show you.